Usagi Yojimbo is a creator-owned comic written and illustrated by Stan Sakai. At over 35 years, it is one of the longest-running indie comics. Usagi Yojimbo tells the story of a wandering samurai who also happens to be a rabbit. The comics span genres from historical to fantasy and horror, and from comedy to drama. You may even recognize Usagi from appearances in various Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics, shows, and games. So here are 5 drawing lessons I learnt from Usagi Yojimbo. For most of its publication history, Usagi Yojimbo has been printed in black and white. We live in a world where so many comics are printed in color that black and white artwork can sometimes seem like an inferior choice. But I love drawing in black and white, and seeing Stan's work come to life in these pages when I was younger gave me a real sense of permission. Yes, black and white is fine. Not only fine, you can make it beautiful and impactful too. The images in Usagi Yojimbo are expertly composed. In comics, this means that each page is as easy to read as possible, and each panel within that page. Stan Sakai uses strong, simple shapes and lines to direct the reader's eye. Objects and characters in the foreground are given heavier lines, medium weight for the middle ground, and lighter lines do for the background. With black and white artwork, this really matters. Stan also makes great use of objects as frames. Anything can be used to direct your reader's attention. The ground and a rock can be a frame, or a doorway, or a gate, or a group of people. Can you see the frame in my drawing here? The story is set in 17th century Japan, and so when creating the world of Usagi Yojimbo, Stan Sakai uses all kinds of reference material. Even though it's drawn in a cartoony style, the clothing, architecture, and environment feel believable. If you don't know how to draw something, using a reference is your best tool. Even if you're making it up, basing an object or clothing on something real can give it weight and authenticity. Using references leads us very nicely to this point. Details matter. How things look matters. Pay attention to the knots on a rope, what a cup looks like in somebody's hand, how clothing sits when it folds. Historical detail and story details might be different, but how? Details really do matter, but don't overdo it. After all these points about composition, reference, and details, so much of what makes Usagi Yojimbo enjoyable to read is its visual simplicity. I hinted at it earlier, but the comics have a very bold, cartoony style. So even though historical accuracy is present in every sword, castle, and kimono, not every detail needs to be there. Cartooning means expressing the most information with the fewest lines. Can you convey a character's mood with 2 dots for eyes and a line for a mouth? Can you draw a natural-looking house without drawing every brick or stone? It's definitely something to think about when you are drawing. So what lessons have you learnt from an artist you admire or a story you enjoy? You're watching Studio Brushpen.